Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gotham City. I'm your host, Levy Rozman. This is a podcast where I talk to people who live in the chess world on the 64 squares and beyond them. But in this episode, we will be staying in the chess world as our guest is none other than international master Eric Rosen. He is a YouTube and Twitch workhorse superstar. He is a dear friend of mine, and we have nearly a 2-hour conversation about, well, everything. I hope you enjoy. I'm very excited. I hope you're excited. I think this is going to be the highest viewed episode for a while, I think.
Oh, you're putting on the pressure. Making me nervous.
Eric, I'm drinking oolong tea from Tea Pigs. What are you drinking?
Hey, let's go. I'm drinking throat comfort from Yogi.
I know that one.
Allergies recently. And also just as a streamer, talking a lot, like talking for hours nonstop, it takes a toll on the throat.
Yeah, I've gone through different health problems. I think last year, I don't remember exactly where this happened, but I had a period of time where like my throat was killing me, and obviously I thought it was COVID, and I think this was before. Yeah, this was 2020, so obviously this was before vaccines. And I was just afraid that I was like sick with different stuff. You've kept like pretty healthy through this chess boom, right? How's your health been?
Well, I've been trying. I mean, it's tough. There's definitely been issues pop up that weren't affecting me before. You call it the chess boom, but really before pandemic.
Pandemic, chess boom, you know, to each their own.
I think the biggest thing, and you're aware of this, and probably a lot of my audience is aware of this too, is just my sleep schedule is just so chaotic. And I usually don't like to talk about this too much, but I'm sure there's other people that can relate to this. I've basically had a non-24-hour sleep cycle for
what does that mean?
The number of hours that I stay awake and sleep don't add up to 24. So there's been months where I progressively stay up later and later and later until like I cycle back, which I get enough sleep. I get like probably 8 to 10 hours every night, but it's just, it doesn't always align with like sunlight. So it's one of the things which I guess,
That's such an I've never heard of that. So your sleep and your awake time in a 24-hour segment should align to 24 hours? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I think I mentioned this to you at some point, but it's like, it's a thing. Like if you Google it, I think other people have this, and I think it's one of the things of not having a strict routine. Like as a streamer, I can make content whenever, and I don't have the typical 9-to-5 job that forces me to wake up at a certain time. So of course, when I have like more scheduled like gigs or meetings, like I adjust, but as one of these things that it's kind of popped up in recent times.
How did that happen? Because when even when I think of you, and like I know you pretty well, but if someone just looks at you, they know you as like the, you know, stoic guy with the inside jokes, with the good content, good thumbnails. How did that? Is it from working too much, or you got some bad habits? You stay up like watching videos too long? Like what fills that space? Is it all just different types of work, or?
Yeah, I think one of the things is when I stream in the evening, it's like impossible to go to sleep.
Yeah.
At least like a few hours after streaming, because your mind is just racing. It's like you get in that zone where like constantly like have to be attentive, and then it's just hard to turn your mind off.
Especially if like there's a lot of donations, you have like a good run, you win some games. I've been really sleepy at 7-8 p.m. In the past, and I've decided to boot up streams, and by midnight I wanted to like go running. I had so much energy, and it's terrible because there were nights I wouldn't sleep till 4 a.m. So
yeah, I think it's recommended that it's like kind of comparable to doing exercise. You're not supposed to exercise like right before sleep. If you're going to exercise in the evening, like at least have it a few hours before your bedtime. So yeah, like I guess most of the summer it hasn't been an issue because I've had like so many events where like even tournaments between Vegas and I was in Sochi where my schedule like had to be pretty strict. But then when I'm just doing the kind of streaming kind of lockdown lifestyle, then it's harder to have a set routine.
It's one of the reasons I stopped streaming as much.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you've heard me talk about it, but I felt myself turn into a bit of a vegetable. Like I always had a routine where I was waking up in the morning and I was sleeping something like midnight to 7, midnight to 8. I'd get up, I would walk to Starbucks, I would get 2 coffees, one for me, one for Lucy, sometimes breakfast, and I would go stream, and like I'd stream till 1, and I had a video that was out at 7 a.m. that I uploaded the night before, and then from like 1 to 4 I would work on a video, and I would, take a nap or do something, and then at night I would maybe work on the next video for the next day. That was my routine for months. Like, do you have a day-to-day routine you follow? Like, today I'm gonna make this video, I'm gonna stream from this to this. You use a calendar at all? I only recently started like consistently using a calendar, but
yeah, calendar really helps to I mean it still requires some level of discipline to like schedule like work times, but the last few days I've been like awake at like weird times, like completely middle of night, and I've actually been like really, really productive. So it's a nice time to
what are you working on?
Just not have distractions. YouTube content, I've been streaming at like 5 to 6 a.m., which is actually a good time for like European viewers. And then there's not too many other streamers online at that time.
Do you stream at that time because it's kind of part of your job and your income, or do you genuinely want to stream at that time and it's like you have a good time doing it?
So almost all of my streams I genuinely want to stream.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why I don't really have a strict streaming schedule, is because if I'm going to stream, it's because I want to, like I'm energized, and it's a big part of enjoyment for me. Like I started streaming as a passion project, and it stayed like I still kind of course it's a career, but it's still a big passion. And I think if I had like a strict schedule, I would maybe burn out a bit more because I wouldn't take as many breaks as I should.
That's my logic.
Yeah.
I don't make a schedule. I'll stream when I feel like it. I've talked about this a few times, like I think on even previous episodes. The only content that I really take from the stream is the guest the ELO, because I'll just record them live and I'll put them on YouTube. But
nice.
Somewhere I just discovered that I really enjoy just the separate conceptualizing of an idea and making the thumbnail and making the content just for YouTube. And I just completely fell in love with that model, for reasons that are obviously like YouTube centric. For example, the algorithm, obviously, more videos you put out, like good content, good monetization. Your video I'm not explaining this to you, Eric. I'm explaining this to anybody,
to everyone watching, of course.
Yeah. Your videos will just pop up on people's feeds. Whereas on Twitch, the only time you're really earning your money is when you're live. I mean, you can have subscribers, but every month that most of them don't auto renew, and they're prompted to, hey, you can resubscribe. Or I don't know, maybe some of them do auto renew, but a lot of them, it falls off after a month, and then it gives them the option to resubscribe. And if you're not live, there's no point to subscribe to you. So, yeah, it's pretty brutal. So that's obviously one, but because I do the whole kind of personality split. Like on Twitch, I'm very rowdy, I'm loud, there's music. I don't really. YouTube is kind of like the classroom version. So yeah, I mean, that's where my heart and my passion sort of flowed. And it was tough, dude. Like, you ever experience, like, if you ever take a break for a day or two, you want to take a break for like 2 weeks? It's really bad. It's like a snowball,
I know exactly what you mean. Like I've gone through this a bunch of times over the last like couple of years where I'll try and like get a streak of like daily YouTube videos. And this is actually one of the things which impresses me about your content. Like you've been super, super consistent on YouTube. Like you haven't missed a day, maybe since like that one time you took a 2 or 3 day break.
Yeah.
But
and Indonesia.
that too. Yeah.
That also happened. Yeah.
But yeah, like when I went to Sochi, I was way less active on Twitch and YouTube. And in some sense, okay, overall it was a good experience, but it's like you lose a lot of the momentum that you would generally build up if I was posting every day. And now I'm just kind of getting back into the rhythm of like doing the daily YouTube content. And that's another thing I've been doing, like these very early mornings is going back through old streams, editing the videos, making the thumbnails. And I think I've found like a new passion for it. At some point I burnt out and just stopped enjoying it, but recently it's been more fun. And I recorded a lot of like in-person videos in Sochi, which I'm just getting back to and looking at and picking the best ones for YouTube.
Yeah, thank God Alexandra Botas went to Union Square, huh?
That's right.
That was insane.
Or this whole new trend.
That was insane. I met with her when she was here, but I never asked like where that idea came from. And I think looking back at their YouTube channel, they played an IRL game when traveling. I think her and Andrea played an IRL game, and maybe the idea was pitched to them by Envy. Maybe not. Maybe they just totally conceptualized it on their own. But I saw that video also did really well. Like her and Andrea playing live over the board. And then someone must have been like, yo, go to Union Square. And my God, the rest is history. I mean, now you got
so many channels are doing it now. And
yeah, I mean, I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. I almost didn't want to take the idea from them because they invited me to go to Washington Square Park. But then Alexandra was like, dude, you should like totally set up a camera in Washington Square Park and play people. And then Hikaru finally went to Coffee Chess. That was the
great collab.
Yeah, it was the two communities merging there. And what are you doing?
Interesting
you do the Sochi Mountains, right? That's what you've been doing.
That's right. I wanted to say like one of the first really successful like IRL chess kind of hustling videos was this one with Maurice Ashley on the Tim Ferriss show. It didn't actually make the official show, but it just ended up being its own YouTube video on Maurice's channel. And that one got like 6 or 7 million views. Like it basically went viral. And I guess it was surprising that no one else tried to do a similar concept, partly because of pandemic, but I think that was the first kind of proof of concept that there's a lot of potential for content in these kind of, especially the chess hustling settings.
I don't know about you, but I'm a pretty low-key guy. Like I don't like to show up to places with cameras, So it was weird for me. I definitely had to get used to it.
It helps if you're going there like with another like content creator.
Yeah.
Rather than just strangers.
Even beyond that, like people there were super supportive. I mean,
that's
awesome. Nice. So yeah, Washington Square Park is great. Union Square is great. And the IRL content, we've admittedly on my channel, they've sort of slowed down, but maybe it's because the thumbnails were slightly the same or whatever. You never know. You put out a video, you're like, oh, wow, it's my worst performing video in the last week and a half. Okay.
Well, this is the thing with YouTube. Yeah. I mean, it could be really good content, but maybe it's not the right like title thumbnail combination, or if it's shorter videos, sometimes those just don't perform as well with watch time being lower. But
how did you get started on all this? I remember the early days. I remember us talking at Chicago Open, May 2018. I had been streaming for a little bit, and you had also been streaming a bit, right? It was May 2018, I think.
That sounds about right. Yeah, like you stayed in like my grandma's old condo for like a few hours waiting for your flight or something.
That is correct. Me, you, Alex Ostrovsky, and Ashwin Jairam drove.
That's right.
And we crashed on the couch for like 3 hours. Yeah, and then we caught we found the one Uber in like a radius of 40 miles, and it was terrifying because we had like a 6 a.m. flight, and we got in the Uber like 4 a.m. I mean, something like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Something.
This is a big problem with the Chicago Open location. Is they advertise it as Chicago Open, but it's some like distant suburb where there's really no like great accessibility to transportation.
Why has no one built a rival chess tournament organization?
That's a fair question. This is an area I'm not so, I guess, knowledgeable in, but there's other organizers like running great events, like the one in Vegas.
Yeah, but that's one event. You know, why isn't there an organization that runs year-long?
Right.
You know,
I think a lot of it is having the right connections with like venues and just having the right systems in place. Like it's hard to have all the working parts, like with online registration, just the staff. But I think there's going to be more demand for in-person events coming up. So I think then there's going to be demand for like more organizers, and hopefully it leads to good things.
There's a lot of people who are trying to play their first tournament. Vegas was crazy, but I don't exactly remember how we got sidetracked, even though it happened like 3 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, you were gonna ask how I got into everything.
Yeah, and then we started talking about Chicago Open and sleeping on the couch. This is the problem with knowing each other too well. You know, like we're gonna get.
It's easy to tangent. Yeah, hopefully people are okay with the sidetracks and.
But yeah. How did this happen? Like you were doing YouTube for a bit, because I remember in the early days you were giving me advice and telling me, and was it like a barren wasteland?
So. Because there's different places I can start.
Yeah, tell me your whole chess career. How about that?
Can I tell you about the first video I ever uploaded to YouTube?
Yeah, tell me the whole thing.
Okay, 2007. I was 13. Well, I was like in 7th grade. A dog at the time who watched television. Like he would attack the television whenever another animal would come on. And I filmed him like just watching TV and going crazy, like attacking he was watching Animal Planet. And as the first video I ever posted, it's an older channel. I think it's still public. Yeah, it's definitely still public, but the video went completely viral. It has like almost 2 million views.
Okay.
So that was my first like kind of YouTube experience. Of course it got like 2 million views over the course of like so many years, but that was back in a time where YouTube was like just beginning to help creators monetize. I think that video alone made like maybe $500 or $600. So that was already like a kind of interesting, motivating thing to do more content. And then there was another video on the same channel where my dog, he would go crazy over the Colbert Report. This was back when Stephen Colbert was on Comedy Central.
Oh my God.
And the show's intro had like this eagle sound, which just triggered my dog. So we filmed a video of him just attacking like Stephen Colbert on the TV. And we posted that. That got like 20 or 30,000 views.
Not as good.
And then,
gotta change the business model.
But then a year or two later, Colbert did a segment on his show of dogs watching his show. Like there's other videos on YouTube of dogs like watching the Colbert Report, and they featured my dog. So one day, like my family was just watching Colbert Report, and we see our living room with my dog just attacking him.
Did he ask permission?
So this was back in a time where YouTube had like internal messaging, and like one of the producers sent a message to the channel, but I wasn't checking messages. Like kind of one of those things I just wasn't active on so much.
Dude, that's
so they did send a message, but you used it anyway, and it was cool. And then we posted another video of my dog watching himself on the Colbert Reports, which also like did really well. So
you just farmed this dog. That's what happened there.
So it was a few like maybe I guess 3-ish viral videos, it's a super old channel. People can probably find it, given that I just basically told people what to search for. I have a lot of other like random stuff on that channel between like old school projects, which I'm realizing I might have to make private before this episode airs.
You will.
I
We're not
will.
recording this live.
Yeah.
That's so
Anyway,
funny,
so that's
man.
like the, I guess, way back of kind of my first experience with virality and social media, and just I never thought it would like turn into a career of like being YouTuber or streamer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk chess, because I know your story. Actually, not super in detail. Actually, I mean, I know you did the whole college thing. You traveled a ton. You were coaching a little bit, but what's been the story with chess? I mean, how, like, I want to know everything. I mean, the
Ooh.
playing, the title getting, the how you became a teacher, how you thought this was going to be a career, and everything.
Well, can we zoom forward and talk about like how I got into like streaming? Because that's, I
Okay.
feel like I should segue from the,
Hmm.
like, because
Then we'll fill in
when
the
I
gaps.
was, yeah, when I was in high school and even college, I was super, I guess, shy and introverted. Like I did not like public speaking or talking in front of a camera. But I still had the motivation to like start a channel, like start a
Hmm.
YouTube channel. It was kind of a trendy thing even back in like 2012, 2013. And I just kept putting it off and off and off. Um, and like late high school, early college, this is around when I was like getting into coaching, of like a much more lucrative side job than um, any other job I could get like as a high school or college student. So I was coaching a bunch of students and really developed a passion for teaching. It was super convenient just to hop on Skype and coach students from all over the country. Started with kids, ended up kind of coaching more adults along the way as well. And after maybe 3 or 4 years of coaching, I I realized that there's a much better way to like make scalable content that's like available for everyone. But the biggest hurdle to overcome was kind of the fear of just putting myself out there and making videos where like the internet would judge me. And like
Oh,
my
they
first,
do.
yeah, they do. My first Twitch stream was um actually, so I made my Twitch channel like 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
Ilya Nizhnik, strong Webster grandmaster, he gave me a tutorial on like OBS. And I wanted to get into streaming then,
Wow.
but
He gave you a tutorial.
he did. Yeah,
What
because
was he doing on OBS?
he had like he was into he was into some gaming. I think he maybe streamed some chess.
That's crazy, man. I mean, for people
So
who don't know, like, Ilya Nizhnik was like a prodigy. Like, this guy
mhm.
is born in '96. I mean, he, yeah, I mean, Nyzhnyk last name. So
Yeah,
if
people are
anybody
going to
wants to look that
misspell
up.
it, even though you just said it. But can find him on
Yeah,
Google.
and like he's only recently climbing up to 2,700, right?
Yeah.
It took him some. That is crazy, man. Wow, I had no idea.
Well,
Yeah,
it's one of the cool things of like being a student at Webster and being surrounded by like just super strong GMs like Ilya, Ray Robson, Laquan Liam
yeah.
also became like good friends.
But they knew about Twitch before it was anything.
So Ilya like gave me a tutorial. I think it was 2016, and I'm pretty sure I still have like recordings of like struggling to put my camera in OBS and like really scuffed audio, which I'll try and find on my hard drive. Um, And then I think we did like one stream on my channel during like Pro Chess League, just commentating the games,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm pretty sure I don't have that VOD. But then I really started consistently after graduating from Webster, graduated in May 2017. And then I started in October 2017. And I was super nervous like in the beginning. Like I would stream to like 1 or 2 viewers, maybe one of them being myself. And uh it was hard to like just appear natural, but I tried to just take an educational approach and be authentic, and I kind of grew from there. And actually one of my first videos on my YouTube channel is like one of my first Twitch streams where I streamed to like 1 or 2 viewers, and that video now has like almost 500,000 views. So it's kind of crazy how things grew.
Wow, what did you name the video?
I named it Twitch stream number 1.
Is that why it has
people? That's one of the reasons, I think, but it's also called like beating people with tricky openings. I'll have to find it, but sure people can find it too if you sort for my oldest videos.
Yeah, everything in that video, all the old Eric content, your hair is just a touch longer in every direction. That's basically the only difference. And the camera's slightly worse.
I've been getting comments recently, like people are commenting that my hairline is receding compared to like my videos a few years ago.
Oh, I get the stuff about the hair too. Yeah, my hair looks like a used mop and all that good stuff. Yeah,
just have to.
We're Jewish guys with hair problems. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, it's although my grandfather is 70 something, and actually, is he late 70s? Is he 36, 70, 75 years old this year? And he's got a flowy head of hair, man. It looks beautiful.
So you have at least some good genes.
No, I have my dad's hair. My dad has no hair. Yeah, he's love you, Dad, but you got no hair.
So I got a sponsorship offer. This was like 6 months ago.
Oh, was it the hair company?
Yeah. As we're probably you probably know.
Yeah, which we can't say their name.
Well, I turned it down. People can probably like. There's only one baldness prevention company that sponsors YouTubers, but I turned it down thinking it was just so random it wouldn't appeal to my audience. But now, if it's like something that relates to me, then maybe I could integrate it into my content. But
yeah, my logic for those YouTube plugs has always been like, money's great, like it is, but to a point. And if I like the product and I've used it, for example, I've used Babbel before, like I'm happy to do a plug on that. There's like certain like health and wellness and you know, mental health and wellness and routine apps. That one's coming in the future. I can't say the name of it.
Nice.
Like health supplements, nootropics, I would consider. But like, I've gotten contacted by some insanely random games, like the most random games on the Google Play Store. And they offer a ton of money. I'm like, how do these companies make any money at all? And I just turn it down because it looks dumb. You know what I mean? Like
it's important to be super, super selective when it comes to like brand deals. And like, I have a pretty hard rule. I don't promote anything I don't use myself and I'm like genuinely passionate about. So I know what you mean with these like random games that reach out, but yeah, you want to stay authentic. So
Eric, you used to have a wait list on your website for students.
I did.
You also gave private lessons for a long time, like
I did.
This whole online grind. You were kind of a pioneer. You were also a grandmaster in residence in St. Louis.
So that was another thing I was going to talk about, but I guess we sidetracked so much. That really helped me start my YouTube channel, because before I was active, at least on my chess YouTube channel, I did this position in St. Louis where at the time they were recording every lecture, putting it on YouTube. This was the days of where like Ben Feingold would give his like legendary like kids classes, and he was someone I watched like almost every day. And yeah, I did a few lectures for them. I remember like almost asking them to not record me because I was so nervous beforehand. Like I was giving live lessons to the audience, and they were going to pre-record it and put it on YouTube. And I was just so nervous that like, oh, people are going to judge me on the internet. But I put in a lot of like preparation into the lesson content and did one on the London opening.
How to beat really good players with London.
Yeah. That was like it's kind of the proof of concept that, okay, there's a lot of potential to just make instructive chess content, and probably did about a dozen lectures for them in total between a few of the residency positions.
How'd you get that job?
So I have to thank Katerina Nemtsova, because she was doing it. And normally like they only invite like GMs or WGMs. I think at some point like they just turned down any IMs who would ask. But like there was some point where she had to, I don't know, she was busy and like asked the club if I could fill in. So I filled in, and yeah, it worked out great. And then kind of made the relationship with the club from there.
Yeah, I always wondered. You are like the most well-liked and well-connected individual in the chess world. It's close. I don't know if there's
I
another
don't like
person.
the word most. I like,
Almost most.
I don't know. There's so many like, I guess, people who are likable and
Yeah, but I think all crossroads kind of go through you. You know, because there's people on opposite sides of you who don't like each other, but they like you. That's definitely the case, right? You know, you're sort of like the oasis of tranquility. It's
Oh well,
like,
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean it's super like, I guess, gratifying when people say that. And I try and be, as I guess, as this one of the parts of my brand is just being wholesome and trying to be nice and a good role model. I think a lot of it, like a lot of my inspiration has come from, oh man, I don't want to leave anyone out. There's a lot of people who have inspired me, but
yeah, say that.
like John Bartholomew, Yasser, Chess Network, these are some of the like OGs. Even like Ben Feingold with like his humor, like dry humor. So I guess I have to give credit to a lot of like the content creators I've consumed that have kind of shaped my own style.
Yeah, my first exposure to chess content was on ICC back in the day, like those like videos. Watching
Like the Gambit Guide,
yeah, watching
Boris Alterman,
yes, him and Smith More Gambit by Alex Lenderman, and
like Ronin Harsvey.
Every Russian Schoolboy Knows
Yeah.
by
Oh,
Yermo
Yermo.
Linsky.
Yeah, he did a video in that series where he beat me, and
Oh,
it was, I love his accent, but that was a painful game.
I So when did you decide the pursuit of the GM title wasn't? Have you decided it's not
Ooh.
worth
So
doing?
what, like, just looking at your YouTube titles and thumbnails are motivating me to like reconsider, to like
Well,
just study chess more.
we'll talk about that, but first let's
Yeah. But yeah, I realized, I guess sometime during my studies at Webster, or I had just gotten the IM title, and I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life.
What year is this?
So this is 2015.
Okay.
Got my IM title. I think it was approved in September. Also, I have the backstory of like, I studied at University of Illinois for 2 years, transferred to Webster on a chess scholarship, so saved a bunch of money on tuition. But it was kind of a big pivot where I was studying math and computer science, switched to interactive digital media, had the side job of like coaching, did some like photo gigs too, but I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I guess I realized that I wanted to invest my studies, invest my energy into like other things than chess, or other things than chess playing. Because I was still like super passionate about coaching, and like entrepreneurship. And I was doing like freelance, like web and photo stuff that it just, the quest for GM, I like, it's probably still achievable, but in order to like chase a GM title, it really requires like full devotion. So I
Yeah.
would have had to make a ton of sacrifices. Like even a few years ago, if I was really serious about getting the GM title, I would not have started like my Twitch or YouTube, or even like coach as much. I would just focus more on studying and playing and traveling. And also like it's an expensive quest to like, I guess, chase a GM title, not only between like getting coaching, training materials, but also like traveling to events that fulfill like the norm requirements, which I did a bit of. Like I traveled to a bunch of tournaments after college, but that was more for just getting to see the world. So I still get the question so much if I'm gonna be a GM at some point, but
Yeah.
it's not a top priority.
Every tournament is about $1,500. I'm not sure people realize that. Like
Between hotel and entry fee and food and
flight, yeah. I mean, the benefit of actually flying internationally and playing a chess tournament internationally, or having the federation not be the same as the host country, helps fulfill certain norm requirements. So if you travel to Europe, you might get discounted hotel, you might get free entry. But
the thing that maybe not too many people realize is that when you're an IM, then you can get conditions at international events. Like for us, even I took advantage of this in 2017, 2018.
Me too, yeah,
is getting
Czech
like free
Republic.
entry and like even lodging and food in certain tournaments. So
but in the States,
it does lessen the cost.
In the States, and I am still pays an entry fee, usually. Lower, but it's there. 5-6 nights in a hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, rental car if you can afford it, if you can drive, and don't want to just walk to the local Denny's for 5 meals. 10 meals in 5 days.
You're bringing back some memories of late night U.S. Open Denny's.
Yep. Chicago Open has a Spears Steakhouse, Dunkin' Donuts, and Subway. That's all you eat at Chicago Open for 5 days.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, Spears is good, admittedly. It's like pretty good food, but I mean, let's be real. All these reports that chess players burn thousands of calories in tournaments, we gain all that shit back by eating all that terrible food. So,
this is one of the biggest struggles in Vegas was like finding. Yeah. I know you struggle with this too, like trying to order delivery, and it was tough.
Oh my God. In Vegas, I ordered, so we ended up just ordering Shake Shack, Chick-fil-A, and McDonald's, like on a little rotating carousel. Uber Eats in New York is so easy, unless they pretend to be Uber Eats and then burglarize your house.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. But in Vegas, once a person delivered my food who literally looked like they were on every drug. Like every drug. The guy stepped out of his car. I thought he was so coked up he was gonna like turn into a rocket ship. And he was like screaming across the way. He was like, Uber Eats! He was screaming, like waving the food, and it's like 2 a.m. because the delivery took an hour because Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And then another time we ordered delivery in Vegas. The person took my food to a different hotel and tried to deliver it to a different person and was texting me in Spanish. And
oh no.
It took an hour and a half for the food to get there, and the food got there like 15 minutes before the next round. So I had to eat a full Shack burger and prepare for my next round. And yeah, I mean, the struggle at these chess tournaments is really something, and it costs a lot of money, and it's really hard to find the silver lining if you don't have a good tournament. On the one hand, you want to go, I'm going to learn and get better, and that's fine, but you just spent 6 days, God knows where. Like, at this point, it's another thing. We can't make a lot of content. I mean, we can make recaps. Sure. That's what I tried to do in Vegas, and people seem to enjoy it.
It went really well. Yeah. Like I have so much respect for you, like doing recaps after such like long, emotionally draining games.
It did suck. It sometimes because I was very tired. But on the other hand, my friends would go down to gamble in Vegas, and I needed a break because you experienced this as well on the walk from the tournament hall back to the hotel or the elevators. I mean, people are amazing, and they were super supportive and super nice, but there's only so many interactions that I can, my soul can take after like a 5-hour chess game, and I was just so tired. Like, I couldn't see straight. You remember my Twitter photo with bloodshot eyes?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, it still is like a circulating meme.
It's
a legendary photo.
Yeah. I mean, that was nuts. Every night, dude. Every night. It was so tiring. And I'm playing in Charlotte. By the time this episode drops, I'll either be in Charlotte or I've already announced it. So
Yeah, and I
But
know you wanted to play like a month ago,
yes, I want to
but
do one a month,
uh-huh.
and yeah, Charlotte, like entry fee is $850. Hotel is, you know, 400 or 500. We're renting a car, uh, me, Alex, and Kyron, and
Mhm.
food. You know, tournament's gonna set me back $1,500 easy.
So at least for you, it's a business expense, and this is
Yeah,
all
yeah.
like deductible, given that it's our profession. But
I mean, dude, imagine
yeah,
playing
still,
two of these tournaments a month. Maybe
right.
three. You can't really play three. It wouldn't really make sense. But yeah. Two. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, with all that said, there's still a lot of like positive things too, like just playing like a good chess game or outplaying a strong opponent is like very rewarding. And
Yes.
I think it's one of the things that kind of keep us going. Like Vegas actually reignited kind of my passion for playing more seriously and competitively. I was definitely like out of form. I only decided to play the day before the event started,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which like I went in with was no preparation. But like during the tournament, I prepared for every opponent, and um, there's something about just playing like a long game in a just quiet room and just kind of being alone with your thoughts and calculating. And okay, had some tough losses, but it was it's a nice way to like be mentally stimulated and kind of keep improving as a competitor. So I think it's still worth it for us.
Yes. The mature and rational way of explaining the opposite side is there are very few more rewarding feelings than battling in chess and actually winning. Everything in your life starts to align. You start getting hype. You're like, I'm gonna do this again and again. Like that game against Chris Yu. You know, I'm playing like the game of my life. I'm like,
It's an
oh
incredible
yeah,
game. Yeah.
chess is the. And then I just hang a night thinking I'm winning, and I'm like, oh my god, just kill me. Like I don't even want to be alive anymore. Like just. And then I won anyway, and I was like, oh, I'll do anything. Like I'll go to the casino, I'll buy everybody drinks, whatever. And but yeah,
Yeah, it can be an emotional roller coaster, especially in the midst of a game after a tough loss or really nice win.
So I went to college and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
My family had me take an honor scholarship here in New York City to go to Baruch College, and I got into the honors program, so it came with certain perks. And they were like, "You'll figure it out. We won't pay for college. You'll figure it out." And then my freshman year, I discovered that you can coach chess in New York City, and I was earning, I think my first job was 60 or 70 an hour to teach in an after-school program, like a class of 10 kids. And I told the school, like, I really wanted to work for you. Like, I'll go to the states national championship. Like, I'll fully commit myself to your students only because you're a freelancer. That's what a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't realize. You could work for multiple schools. You can fill up your Monday through Friday with after school programs. And then very quickly, I was like, why am I recruiting for any sort of work? Like, I don't know about your two colleges where you went, but we had corporate networking events on campus at Baruch, and people would come in the hundreds to talk to one person who was the campus recruiter for, let's say, Bank of America. And you got to stand in this line of like literally 40, 50 people. I know I said hundreds, but there was hundreds on the whole event. You got to get their business card. Like there was this whole pipeline of getting the internship at a boutique investment firm in your sophomore year, and then a structured internship in your junior year, and then a full-time offer in your senior year. And I'm out here just 3 to 7 p.m. every day teaching chess, getting paid like sometimes under the table, sometimes not. I'm like, this is great. Like, why do I need that other job? And I made that transition fully sophomore year of college. I wanted to run my own program, so I reached out to 40 different private schools. Do you know like chunks of this, or is this all new to you?
Part of this is new. I didn't realize. Wait, did you finish college
Yeah.
or?
I
Okay.
did. I finished college, and
I guess I would have assumed you started coaching like earlier, but yeah, I don't think you've ever told me like the origin story of your like, coaching career.
I was just wondering, because obviously for
Yeah.
people listening, it's obviously new, but I'm curious if we ever had this conversation. But yeah, sophomore year, I started running my own program. I still taught every now and then at other schools that paid well. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is that if you market yourself in a good way, and you're good in front of a class, and you can kind of control 10 kids for 1 hour, which is all you really need to do, even at $1,200 in New York City can make $100 for that 1 hour class. And for beginners, if you're really smart about it, what you end up doing is you can find a school that entrusts you with just literally running a small program of like anywhere from 10 to 30 kids. And that can lead to camps. Like camps are the moneymaker when you are a Scholastic chess teacher. Because that's 5 days. Like let's say President's Day, there is no school for 4 days. So you do like a 2-day camp on the long weekend, right? Or 3-day camp. Kid pays $300 for 3 days. You get like 10 kids. It's money. You could charge even more depending on,
And then you can like some people outsource the coaching too. So then it's just a matter of organizing the whole thing. And and there's huge demand for it, especially these days.
That was kind of my model for a couple of years. I was just every day 3 to 7 p.m. and on the weekends all day Saturday I was working. I was just carving out the right commute of lessons. I'd go like Brooklyn, and then like up into Manhattan, and then I would end my day somewhere in Manhattan. I would go get dinner, and you also time the families which feed you. So I would try to time families which were nicer. They would give me some like lemonade or even serve me a full meal. So I'd like to end my days at families that I had a 25% chance of getting some pizza or some food. So
I guess that's the big benefit of in-person lessons and compared to online lessons. I don't usually get fed from my students.
Indirectly.
Yeah, indirectly. That's fair.
But
when I visited you in January 2020.
Yep.
And you were actively coaching. I think like one of the days, like I met you at one of like your events that you were running. And then you had another job at the time too, which was more like, I think a normal type of job outside of the realm of chess.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which I remember we were just talking about like balancing the two. And it seems like an eternity ago.
Oh, it does, man. It's crazy. Yeah, that was a crazy period in life, period. I said that twice, but yeah, the origin story of all this, what I do now. Yeah, when you visited January 2020, I was living in that small place. We won't dox me, but living in a small place, and I was enjoying myself because I had a pretty cool rent agreement, and I wasn't paying that much rent. And yeah, what Eric is talking about. So I was doing my Scholastic program, but it was fading. And actually, around then was a really weird period of time where a parent who I had a great relationship with for a while, we stopped seeing eye to eye. And part of that was on me. Part of that was me. I mean, I was young. I was 22, 23, like when we first met. So yeah, I'm sure there was moments I was kind of immature, but it was a big personality clash. Could argue that maybe that individual was slightly pushy, maybe a little overbearing, tried to kind of call the shots a little bit. Now I was like, this is my program, so that conflict never really got resolved. And that's on both of us. Like, we could have resolved it better, but and I'm really bad in those situations. I hate showing up to a place and not being able to, like, I can't clear the air. So I've actually made a promise to myself ever since that conflict happened. Like, I speak up, do not bottle things up. I mean, it helps with your significant other, right? That type of stuff, you speak up, but it also just helps in life. Like, you don't feel uncomfortable in a workplace or whatever. And that was really pushing me to seek other chess opportunities. I was like looking to become the head of another school's program. I was like doing some, behind the scenes inquiring and everything. And yes, Eric is alluding to the fact that I was also helping a good friend of mine run a college admissions consulting company.
That's right. Okay, I forgot the general
Yes,
area, but
that is another thing that I was working on. I was doing a lot of management for them, not the actual consulting. And it's completely legal for those that don't understand. It's a way to craft high school students' extracurricular activities, academic path, like angling their application. It's crazy that the United States has this, but it does. It exists, and for everybody, there's a product out there that will help you do something. And then when pandemic slowly kind of started hitting, I was like, damn, I can't really give any private lessons anymore. I got to stay home. Let me really give this streaming thing one final shot. Because in April 2020, I streamed maybe 5 hours, like very little.
wow.
And then in May is when it all kind of took off. And then in June, I was making YouTube videos. And then I stopped giving private lessons. My life was in a really bad place in February 2020, March 2020. Like I could have ended up with nothing. Let's put it this way. And I ended up with a lot more than, I mean, I want to say like everything, but I'm still hungry, I still want to do stuff, but.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that because when I visited you in January, I guess this was like my last trip before the world shut down, but I assumed that like you gradually grew from February through April and then May happened, but I didn't realize like you almost stopped.
Yeah, I March could have lost like everything in March. Like when I say everything, I really mean it. So I had to really like look myself in the mirror, and I don't really know how to describe it. It's just sort of everybody has those moments in life. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people who are not born ultra rich or whatever. And I turned it around and worked extremely hard and basically just like stayed super focused. And you helped me a ton along the way in the beginning as well. And the collabs like with Hikaru, with Botez, Nemo, like they were all ahead for a while, and I just kind of did my thing. And a lot of the content I look back on now, I think is terrible, and I want to redo it. But people liked it, man. And
but still, at the time, like you're like, even if it's not to your standards currently, at the time, it's still some of the best content out there. And I think you've filled this void in the like chess YouTube space of just making like really accessible content for like a more mainstream audience. That like even some of your earlier videos from last year, they're a so-called evergreen content where like they're still relevant today, just like the basic opening lessons and the Gotham guides. So
yeah, the Gotham guide is crazy, man. I came up with that idea. I took a walk to lunch in May 2020, and it was like just a turnaround from having nothing to slowly having a budding content creation career. And I had this idea on the walk. I used to take like 40-minute walks. May 2020 in a mask. I think people started consistently masking up in the States maybe June, July. Maybe I'm mixing this up, but I remember
that sounds about right. Or even like April, May. I don't know.
Yeah, we couldn't get any masks, so I had a 95 mask that I just reused, and like a cloth mask. It's crazy to think about. Like, when did the mask start getting put on? And that's when I thought of that. And yeah, I remember you and I, like, even for a while, I don't remember when we stopped doing this. We just both got so busy. But we would have like monthly or every like 4 or 5 weeks, we'd like hop on a call and just like.
Yeah, every few weeks, like, because I guess you're one of the few people I can very much relate to, like career-wise. Like, this kind of took off for both of us in the last like 1 to 2 years, and there's so many things about like the whole Twitch, YouTube, I guess even the agency landscape that I think it's really important, like for especially content creation. It can be an isolating career, especially if you're just like a solo streamer, you don't have a team. So yeah, and like even conversations like this, but like our like monthly or bi-monthly calls were super valuable in just bouncing off ideas. And of course our matches too were slightly painful, but
Dude, I don't know how I've won like every match by a game. You know, I think that what did you do to piss off the chess gods, man? Like even the match the official match we played, dude. That was God. I got so nervous in all those matches. Did you get nervous? I got so nervous. I
I get
don't know what it
nervous,
was.
yeah. Like, but usually I'll get nervous beforehand, and then during the match I just try and get in the zone. But then of course, like towards the end when they're like the score is so close, the time's ticking down,
Yeah.
then like it's so important to be able to like tune out the distractions and just manage your nerves. And that's something I guess on the surface like it seems like I manage well, but uh remember you saying that like you were wearing a heart rate monitor and it was like showing that you were sprinting.
Oh, it was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like 130, 140. And then I mean it failed ultimately against Roberto in the final.
I was rooting for you. Yeah.
I felt really good in that match, and I felt my prep was good, but I was literally just a deer in the headlights at moments. I was just staring at this board, and nothing was coming to me. I'm just looking at this board like, what am I doing? Make a move. And
I can relate to that. I think a lot of players can relate to that, is where like you're completely off form, where just the gears aren't turning. And I found that when I'm in good form, I can play like 200 to 300 points above my level. When I'm in bad form, it's like 400 or 500 points below my level. So
what for me, uh, when I play, like I have an account that I just play my real openings on, like all the openings I'm preparing long term for the GM quest, and I'm like consistently 2,800 blitz on that account, which I've never had. Like I mean 27. When I'm like laying down I play much better on my phone. First of all, I
well,
can't see tactics on a computer screen. It's actually nuts. Like I'll be playing on my phone and I'm just crushing 28, 2,900s like in the zone, and like it feels good because like a lot of blitz is your first instinct. So you're playing, the flow of the game is coming a lot more naturally. You're up on the clock, and your position is good. What do you prefer? You play on computer, phone?
so
How do you
I almost
train?
never, if I'm super lazy, like I can't sleep or like laying down, I'll do like phone games. But usually
Wow,
I play on the computer. Um
I'm the opposite.
yeah, that's actually surprising because like like streaming and just using the mouse, it just feels more natural to
I hate it.
play online. Mhm.
I guess I associate it with subpar play because when I play the blitz and I'm talking trash and everything, I don't really care too much. Um,
Well, then the bigger discussion is like on a screen or on a real chessboard, because a lot of
yeah.
players who are new to the game have a very hard time adjusting to the third dimension.
Mm, I really wish I was better. Like I have a nice, little wooden set. And
Mhm.
I would love to set up training positions and analyze. I don't have the work ethic for it.
I've been doing that the last 2 days. I've just been picking problems from imagination and chess.
Mm,
At like this has been my routine the last few days. I'm just going to try and keep it up. Of like when I edit a YouTube video, I'll export it, and then
yeah.
I'll just solve positions for like even 5 to 10 minutes. And I have this book, Imagination and Chess, where the problems usually take me a few minutes to solve. So it's kind of good mental workout.
That I used to play Overwatch during those moments, but now I haven't played Overwatch in an extremely long time, and I don't know how that happened. It was an
Mhm.
addiction. Like it was something I told myself I would kill a couple hours every day just playing, but all of a sudden I just stopped doing it. I didn't do it once, twice, three times, and I ended up not playing for several months. Like that was a really big vice for me. So now anytime I have a video rendering, go and
be productive.
try to be productive. Maybe look at some lines in chess base, like try to, memorize some lines. Openings still for me continue to be the most fun part of chess. Like if I'm learning a new opening, right? It's even not trick lines that we might make a YouTube video on, like if I'm messing around with a new Nimso line, for example. That's why I've had a lot of fun playing these training games and then putting them on YouTube with titles like I'm going to be a grandmaster. People love those titles, man. I'm going to keep making them.
Dude, I kind of want to, I'm inspired. Like I might make a counter title of,
I'm also going to be a grandmaster.
Yeah.
Dude, we can dominate that category. It's
because it's a question like I get so often. I have a Nightbot command of just explaining like my philosophy with being a GM or wanting to be a GM. But I should really have like YouTube content kind of explaining what my quest in chess is, because I'm passionate about improving, but I want to focus more on the, I guess, the journey rather than the whatever title or final destination. So yeah, if you want to like even do training games or do like puzzles, like one thing that's really helped me in the past when I don't have the motivation to study on my own is like studying with a training partner.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that helped me get my IM title. Is in 2015, I took like a gap semester, and I was training at the time with Victoria Nee.
Yeah. She's like 23, 2400.
Yeah. And we were around the same level, and we would just study like 4 to 6 hours every day.
That's crazy.
And like solve positions, play training games. We would take positions from Argard's books. And then instead of like just trying to solve like the positional exercises, we would just play them out like in a 5+ 10-second increment game, and then go back and analyze. And then in the span of like 2 to 3 tournaments, I gained 100 points, got 2 IM norms, and got the rating for IM.
Okay, so why are you not GM? You have like a perfect training regimen. What happened?
Oh, life got busy. Like I started, so it's weird because I hit my peak it was after the Chicago Open in May 2015.
What's your peak rating?
24-25 FIDE.
Wow, so we both
We're really
lost.
close, I know.
We both lost almost 100 points.
Yeah. I mean,
how the hell did we do that, man? You know what's nuts?
I can explain for me, but yeah, go ahead.
Quick side note.
Yeah.
I always thought, like, for example, one of my closest friends, Alex Ostrovsky, he's played almost like 1,000 more over the board games than I have in his life.
That's crazy.
And for a long time, I was like, well, I haven't played a lot over the board. I quit chess multiple times, this and that. If I had those games, maybe I'd be And then I looked at you, and you have less games than me.
Really?
Yeah, like it's very close. Yeah,
I thought I started much earlier than you.
And you have less, you have less over the board games. I don't know, like in which year or whatever.
I guess like if you live in New York, you can play in Marshall.
That's true.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, that's fair.
In Chicago, like I'd play maybe once a month or. Yeah, it's just harder to find like good tournaments to play in.
How'd you lose 100 points?
So I started Webster, which you would think would be an amazing experience to keep improving.
Wow.
Like being under guidance of like Susan Polgar and being surrounded by just a ton of grandmasters. Like I think my final year at Webster, I was board 4 on our C team. Okay. So we had like close to a dozen GMs. And basically I put more emphasis on coaching and kind of my more creative, like, I guess, digital media passions like photography, web design. I was doing a lot of freelancing work and studying chess, even though we would have like regular study sessions.
Yep. It
wasn't a top priority for me. And like you can be in the right environment, but if you don't have, I guess, if it's not your main focus, then it can still be hard to improve. And I think the other thing that affected me like negatively about being surrounded by so many grandmasters, it took a toll on my confidence, because we would have like our weekly or monthly study sessions. We would solve puzzles. I was always like the lowest performing like solver and analyze, and things would just take longer for me. And it was harder to,
Wow.
I guess, have confidence when like there's so many players just above your class. I mean, of course, I learned a ton, and I think I did improve overall as a player, but of course, I had some bad results that took a hit on my rating, and
Interesting.
I'm okay with that. Like,
Yeah, you're not. I guess you're not. It's not great to train with folks that are like there's too big of a gap, especially if it's a lot of people. If there's like a couple of GMs, but most people are your level or slightly below.
have you heard of James Altucher? I'm sure you have, chess player.
Yeah, chess player. Yeah, I thought it was
So-
I thought it was I thought it was Altschuler. I thought the
Oh.
Bitcoin guy is Altucher.
So Altucher, yeah, he's like involved in crypto. He like I actually coached him a little bit
That's the same guy.
earlier this year. Yeah. Yeah, he's like 2200.
Wait, what? That's the same guy?
It's the same guy. Yeah. Yeah. He was interviewed a couple of times on Perpetual Chess Podcast. He has a podcast of his own.
I had no idea this whole
Really?
time in my. Oh my god! Yeah, I was like, those
Yeah,
are
he has a
different
really
people.
interesting like life story of
Oh,
starting companies,
Jesus.
going broke,
Okay.
and anyway, the reason why I brought him up is because he does a lot of content on just like self-improvement and like business and just excelling and like personal growth. And he has this concept called plus minus equals, where if you want to improve at anything, you should have people surrounding you that are lower than you. So you should be teaching the minus side. So
Yeah.
he explains this much better than me. But basically you
You're on
should
a roll.
have
Keep going,
people
keep going.
lower. You should have people equal to you, so like you can relate to them, and then people stronger than you as well.
Yeah.
And he talks about this in like I think his most recent book. It's I think called Skip the Line. And he actually had a recent episode on his podcast where he talks about like all these concepts that have helped him and relates a lot of it to chess, which I thought was really cool.
That is very cool.
So
Plus minus equals is usually how my games go.
yeah, it's fluctuating evaluations.
Oh my god, dude, you totally blew my mind. I had no idea it was the same guy. Okay, I'm gonna take a look at some of his stuff. I really, I like to listen to smart people, or at least smart sounding people, talk about stuff. So I like listening or watching like YouTube videos that I can just put on in the background, and I like to read nonfiction. It's the only thing I can really read. Like I can convince my brain it's like worth reading. By the end of the book, I'm going to be smarter about something, and I'm going to be able to use that for good in some way. Good might be tweeting that systemic racism is still embedded in society and is rooted in, anyway, I don't want to. And then I'll get called anti-American, and I'm just like, how does that even know? That's not. So yeah,
But nonfiction is like my favorite genre. Like I stay away from like most fiction, sci-fi, fantasy. Like I'm all about
you want to read
I don't
something,
really read,
learn.
but-
I want to learn something.
yeah.
Because-
I'll listen to podcasts and audiobooks, and it's probably the main way I stay informed these days.
You have a few book recommendations for people?
Oh yeah. So the genre I'm most interested in, of course, is like nonfiction, self-improvement. I should pull up my Audible like library. I mean, the one I always recommend is Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Is amazing.
I don't know about amazing. I've never read a book that I was like, wow. I've read a book that I'm like, oh, it's a good read. I don't know. I'm very tentative when it comes to being like, oh my God, you have to like, this is a thing you must 100% do. Maybe with music or like food, but never books. I read a book, I'm like, that was a good book. On to the next one. I also never like watch or read anything twice. Like I don't know how people watch the same movie like 4 times. It blows my mind. I don't know.
yeah, I don't really read or listen to stuff multiple times, but it's just things that have kind of made a lasting impact or like changed some way I've like thought about the world.
Mm.
Like with Art of Learning, like it talks a lot about like just growth mindsets of like being more focused on learning than being result oriented, and just having kind of the beginner mindset where you want to immerse yourself. And I think that's helped me in various areas in life.
I think we're very good at convincing ourselves we're getting work done when we're not. That's like what I always tell people. I do it too. I'll do it too.
Yeah.
Like one day I gotta go, dude. Like get into the competitive mindset. You're at the board like game number 1 of Charlotte. How you feeling? Like you don't have the computer anymore. You don't have the luxury of your own house. You're like out there in battle. And it's a totally different thing to visualize. Like once you're there, rather than sitting in the comfort of your own home. I know for a fact there's days most days I don't put my best foot forward in terms of like the training side of things. What I have done, what has helped me a lot, is the exercise. So
I've been seeing your tweets.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the gospel of the gains, but yeah, the gym has like me really accountable, like taking my supplements, taking protein, and like going to the gym. I cannot tell you how many times in the past few weeks I am exhausted in the afternoon. Like that is my crash time. I just go, get on a city bike, and I bike to the gym. I work out, I bike home, and like I feel great by the end of it. You ever have that? Like exercise cures your bad mood or tiredness?
So pre-pandemic, I was going to Orange Theory, which is like this group workout program similar to CrossFit. I was getting in really good shape, and then pandemic hit and had to stop going. And then more recently, I went again, like earlier this summer, but now like I'm a bit hesitant to go.
Go.
So
you're fine. Just go. What?
Yeah. Well, the thing
COVID?
is, like they do require masks. So to run, like to intensively work out, I don't know. I'll probably try it.
I see.
But then like I'll also supplement that with like taking long walks in Forest Park in St. Louis, like an amazing park.
Yeah.
At least when the weather isn't like overly hot and humid. And then trying to play a decent amount of tennis too.
I wanna learn how to play tennis.
Yeah, you should come to St. Louis. Play a lot with Ray Robson, and I actually haven't played like so recently. One of the last times I played was with Ray Robson, Unieski, and Dominguez. So I was the lowest rated chess player on the tennis courts.
Just casually playing tennis with like a top 7 player in the world or something.
So Dominguez is actually really good, like surprisingly good. Yeah, he's probably like the best super GM. Yeah, he's really nice. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had too many interactions with him beyond like playing tennis and sometimes seeing him, but he aced me. Like people usually don't ace me, but he aced me once.
Wow.
And he has like a long wingspan, so he'll just like crush most volleys at the net.
I have a hot take question for you.
Sure.
On the subject of super GMs or just strong GMs in general.
Okay.
You think they respect us?
Oh, I don't like grouping. I don't like making like to take a group of people and just make a statement about that group of people. I feel like is dangerous. Like it really just depends on the individual.
That's fair.
I think it's hard to answer in general. Yeah. Sorry if you like. I think probably most do have respect.
Even if the grind in and of itself is like more content based, it's not from a competitive standpoint.
Grind in itself.
Like you and I have careers making bite-sized chess content, putting it out on Twitch and YouTube, and I feel like a lot of titled players value some sort of chess respect through competition, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's.
I guess I get what you're saying.
I always wonder that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm leaning toward not really, but I don't know. I'm very curious to know.
I
I'm
think most people are
curious.
appreciative that like chess has just been a lot more popular, like even if it hasn't.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like I asked the niche, right? And top level chess doesn't change at all
right.
with the boom. Okay, like you do this online tour. They did this online tour, great. But for a lot of them, it's the same thing. It's really the same thing. And that blows my mind. And so I wonder, is there any trickle down effect from large YouTube channels amassing an audience that wants to watch chess? Like, do they go to other places? Are more people getting private lessons? I want to say yes, but I have no idea.
That's a
I
great
have.
question, and I think it's hard to judge because like the boom has been so recent, and but I think we saw at least in Vegas there's been a lot more interest at the lower level, like a lot of players just playing their first tournament or like
Yep.
coming back from a really long break. I'm not sure how much that will affect the top level. Um, but I mean, it seems like there's more sponsors getting into chess, like with the Champions Tour and like more kind of chess companies popping up. So I think it's good for the overall ecosystem, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I guess more grandmasters can make courses and things like that. Yeah, I guess.
I can tell you one story how I was disrespected in Russia by a GM. I think it was just playful. I'll exclude like names, but
Okay.
we were filming OTB content,
Uh huh.
and okay, we had like nice group of like content creators, and then someone came by and saw a Stafford Gambit, like strong grandmaster came by, saw Stafford Gambits uh being played. I wasn't actually playing the game, it was two other people, and the GM said something like, who is that fool online that's been promoting such a garbage opening, not realizing I was there.
Oh wow! So now you
um
got to figure out if he knew you were there and said it on purpose, or was
yeah,
just
I think it
saying
was
it.
all like kind of light fun though, but
I don't know,
yeah.
man. Those. Alexandra Kostyniuk said that when she was jokingly teaching a PogChamps Russia participant the Grob opening, that Jan Nepomniachtchi texted her and was like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Well, the Grob apparently is like a big meme in Russia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. On
Yeah.
that podcast, all the comments are like in Russian, like "We're gonna win with the
Mm.
Grob," like "Grob hype." So
So I played the top like Russian YouTuber,
I saw
chess
that.
master.
I
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah.
But we recorded a video where he played the Grob against me, but only he has the recording. So I have to get it from him.
Dude, he beat
So
me
it's such a good
twice with the
game.
Grob in Title Tuesday.
I heard from your interview. Yeah. It's
Yeah, crazy. I
so
like.
what do you play against the Grob?
I don't even know, man.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one move of preparation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know, but it works out really nicely. So G4, you play
Mm-hmm.
E5.
Okay.
And the idea is to play knight E7 to G6 to H4. That's all I know, but like most people don't know it as white, and you got to find position and you pressure
Wow.
the bishop on G2.
All right,
Yeah.
Maxima Maryov, the next. That's his name, right?
Yes.
Well, next time we play, I'll be ready.
Well, I played that against him, and he couldn't stop saying wow because he was impressed with my preparation.
Man has trained in the underground of the Grob dungeon, and
Exactly.
he was shocked by your discovery. Yeah, I've really enjoyed learning like a few different lines for the upcoming tournaments and playing them on my burner, and I've like learned a few openings that I've just never ever played and have never shown anywhere, and
Mm.
different lines, like different lines. I never allowed the Nimso Indian. Now I'm allowing it and messing around with some stuff. So it's the only way to keep chess interesting. Uh,
Oh, definitely. Like, I remember like getting kind of bored with like repetitive nature of my repertoire like several years ago, and then I discovered like the Stafford and all these crazy gambits, and it's been
Now you're literally known for openings. I mean,
it's crazy how things have like kind of evolved. But it's like obviously like I'll get the comments like, oh, these are dubious or like they're just refuted, but part of it is just like enjoying the game and exploring uncharted territory.
yep.
And there's an interview, it was like with Chris Callahan on the Perpetual Chess podcast, where he's talking about like how players become so fixated on reading
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes they forget just to enjoy the game. Like if you take other sports like basketball, you're not focused on just your basketball reading and like studying to get better. You just want to play and have fun. I think that's can be a healthy approach with chess as well.
Yeah, I always say that people in chess are, I don't know what it is about chess, but everyone in chess is all like, hey, I'm 20 and I'm just starting in my first tournament. Like, can I be a GM? Like, what? No one talks like that in any other activity. Do I want to dedicate my time to this? You don't ask yourself that question when you go to the gym to play basketball with your friends. Like, I don't know. It's really weird. Just
And it's
play
so
the
easy
game.
to get attached to like the reading, like the number of the reading or the next title. And it's much more important just to focus on the process.
I'm gonna try to apply that in my, I'm the lowest seed in my upcoming tournament by by
Wow.
70 points.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, I could just do what I want. It's like pretty cool. Oh no
That
no no no
takes off
no!
the pressure of it.
They moved the sections a little bit, so now
Okay.
me and the bottom seed are on the same level. So from eighth up, it's at least like 70 points.
Have you ever played a tournament where you're like, I want to say
Not
rock bottom, but at the bottom?
not to this point. But this is the only
Uh-huh.
round robin I've ever played. Really, I played a GM round
Wow.
robin at Marshall Chess Club, and I was a bit closer up. But yeah, this is like I said, I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm prepping all these lines, prepping for my opponents, and then I actually start visualizing the emotions and what I'm going to feel at the board depending on what they play. That's pretty scary because then it starts creeping in. What if you go 0-9? And I'm like, well, at least I'll make some good recaps. Like,
Well, it's like hopefully that will take the pressure off. Like regardless of what happens, like it'll be interesting content, educational for the viewers. Like you just document your journey and um yeah, hopefully you can play some good chess and not go 0 out of 9.
I hope so. I would be very upset if I lost every single one of my games. Let's spend the next like half hour on two things.
Okay.
First of all, I want to ask you some Twitter questions,
Ooh,
and then we can talk about like the future and life
sounds good.
plans and
I've like random questions for you too.
like off Twitter or off your head.
Well, probably off my head, off my
Okay.
Google Doc that I just scribbled random notes.
Okay, go ahead.
I was watching your stream yesterday. You're getting a puppy or a
Oh,
dog?
it's got a very tragic ending.
Oh no.
Um, you watched the stream that Lucy and I drank together?
Yes, but I was only there for a few minutes and there was some mention of a dog.
Oh, okay. Because earlier I said I would knock out you, Anish, and Magnus in a 3-on-1 fight.
Oh no.
I would knock them out first, and then
Okay.
I wouldn't. I don't want to. I don't
Like
want to punch
physically
you.
or just
Yeah.
like in a
With
format?
like my good looks or something. I
Okay.
don't know. But yeah, please don't go back. And people in the
Watch the
chat are
vlog.
always trying to get all the chess creators to fight each other, you know. So I wanted to say something that got people riled up. But Eric and I have a pact. We only punch up. We only punch GMs. That's or Eric doesn't want to punch anybody.
I'll
but
punch people with my Stafford Gambit.
Fair.
Yeah.
So the kind of tragic ending to the dog story is as follows. Lucy and I, we love animals, and we really want to get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and we wanted to start with number 1. So we kind of got excited, and we went on a few adoption places. We saw some really cute puppies. They put in an application, and like immediately they got back to us, and we scheduled a meet and greet. And we got off the phone, and both Me, much worse, but we've got like a massive wave of anxiety about the monumental task in front of us, kind of.
Mhm.
Like, it's cool you get a dog. Okay, you have a dog now, great. But like this thing is yours and will live as part of your family for hopefully 15 years, right?
Right.
And you have to take care of it 6 to 8 hours every day in puppyhood, which is fine because I'm home. I got nothing else to do. We got to train it, feed it, like provide everything for it, deal with any problems. And then I started like thinking, oh my God, like what if it's hard to train? What if it turns out that, super intense allergies or something, something completely unpredictable, or it doesn't settle down, it keeps barking. On and on and on and on. And I was like, are we ready? Like, are we ready for this? Maybe we live like 5 more years by ourselves together, enjoy, go travel, and don't need to spend so many of our waking moments worrying about this animal and like trying to make sure it has like the best life possible. Like there is a time and a place, and I'm just not exactly sure it's right now. And we decided not to even go see the dog in person and then say no, because that's just messed up. So,
I mean, it sounds like you've thought about this a ton, and you're like being super self-aware, and
today,
it's much better than like getting
yeah.
a dog and then realizing you're completely unprepared.
Yeah, I don't even like we figure it out because we're two able-bodied individuals who are more kind of smart, not like super smart. Like we'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, what like have you thought about getting an animal?
Yeah, it came to mind. I mean, my family, basically, dog lived with my parents for many years. Passed away about a year ago. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was rough, but
That's another thing we thought of. Like this thing is gonna die in 15 years, maybe less. It's gonna be devastating. We're gonna be devastated. Like,
yeah,
very
it's
sad.
but like for me, at least right now, it does make sense. Like I have an apartment. I'll probably get a new place soon.
You're gonna get a $3 million house?
Oh, are you offering
No, I'm
something?
saying that's what Hassan did, and then he got canceled.
Oh,
We're gonna
I think I
cancel you
saw
on
something
Twitter.
about this. But yeah, I don't know yet. I'm gonna start searching somewhat soon because my lease expires at the end of the year. But in terms of having a pet, like I feel like I'm gonna be more nomadic, at least in the somewhat near future. So I don't think it would make sense. Like maybe a cat would make more sense, or like
Yeah.
a hedgehog.
Okay.
Hedgehogs don't bark, but
That's not a sentence that I thought I would hear, but yes, that is. There you go.
yeah.
Very
I mean,
true.
I was also trying to think of ideas for you. Like you could also consider fostering. Like there's foster programs which I honestly
Thought,
don't know too much about,
yeah,
but
thought about that. Thought about that.
uh,
Yeah, fostering. I don't know. It's something we gotta revisit.
but there's going to be pros and cons. But that's
Yeah,
it's something that you have to put thought into.
today was weird, man. Like I had anxiety like I never had in my life. You always get anxious about various stuff, but I was like laying on the couch. I had no idea what decision to make, like on the dog, yes or no. And we ended up just like, if we're having this much doubt and anxiety, just better not. And yeah, we apologized, and I felt stupid like wasting their time because it was a great call. We saw this little puppy; it was adorable, and it's 20 pounds at 4 months old, which is already enormous.
Wow.
It's gonna be like a big dog, and yeah, so it was sad. But yeah, you have a second question? That's not as sad.
Oh, that was like the big one. That's some like random. How about let's jump into the Twitter questions. I'll probably have questions for you a bit
Okay.
later.
Um. So first one is from my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
She's starting off like personal life, so I hope you're ready. Okay.
Oh dear.
If Eric can be a kitchen utensil, what would he be and why?
Oh, this is really personal.
Yeah, that's like, you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what are the options? Like, there's
I don't know.
knife, spoon,
You ever been in a kitchen?
fork,
Hey, you could probably go for the more
fork.
exotic ones too.
like butcher knife. I mean, it depends what I'm cooking. Like if it's, or it depends what I'm eating.
Uh-huh.
If it's soup, then one of these like nice like soup spoons.
Now you got to be one utensil forever.
Forever. I mean,
Yeah.
then a spork, obviously.
Aha, I like that.
Yeah,
Exotic
then,
and useful.
Yeah, it's the most useful.
Hmm. Do I have to answer it too? Let me think.
I guess you do.
I would be a grapefruit spoon.
What is that?
It's like the thing you can jam it into a grapefruit and eat it.
Wow. I thought
Yeah.
you had to like chop up the grapefruit.
No, it's a thing. It's a real thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll order one on Amazon.
Someone responded to Lucy and said you would be a can opener.
Ooh. Is that even a utensil?
I don't know. I think it's a device. Let me take a look. All right, what else we got? Some other hard-hitting inquiries. I said I would ask you the ones that have the most upvotes, but hearts, but as we discussed, it's really difficult for some reason on Twitter to sort by what got the most likes. If you could be the greatest chess player or the greatest photographer of all time, what would you choose?
I saw this one. And the first thing that came to mind is photography is way more subjective than chess.
Okay.
So it's really hard to define like what does greatest photographer of all time even mean? But like chess, that's like okay, top rating and dominant. So probably chess, and then I'd still want photography as a hobby.
I got
Although
you.
I've had like aspirations of like this was probably when I was younger, but even still I can imagine myself in 5 or 10 years just exploring the prospect of like being a National Geographic photographer.
Yeah.
Even not even National Geographic, but just going to really exotic locations, photographing wildlife. And yeah, it's something that's kind of appealed to me as a different career path.
My mom kind of did that. She's a science journalist, and she's basically gotten stories from certain publications that they'll pay her to fly to like Madagascar to do a report on their irrigation and toilet system.
Wow.
Stuff like that. Yeah, she's badass.
Does she go?
Yeah, dude. She
awesome.
wants to been to India, Madagascar. I mean, I don't think she ever got to go to Mongolia, but Peru, Russia. She did like a whole thing in Russia. Yeah, a lot. I'm probably missing some. She's her book. She wrote a book. It's gonna hit market probably in September. So I look forward to, first of all, reading it. I had a copy of the PDF, but I couldn't read a PDF. I was just getting, I was like, what am I doing? I'll just wait for the book to get published, and I'll support my mom. So
yeah, be nice to your eyes.
Exactly. She kind of has this question is, I get this all the time, and I don't know the answer to it, so I'll hand it off to Eric.
Oh dear.
If not the career that you currently have, or just say chess, what would you be doing?
I mean, I feel like I just answered that. I'll like go to the Arctic and just photograph penguins and probably try and stay warm somehow.
I would probably teach. Well, I guess you're saying I can't do that. I would teach chess to bankroll a startup, something like that. I'd figure out. I'm always getting ideas, and then like starting research, and then stopping it. That's like my life. I'll research if a startup exists. I'll do a ton of research, and then I'll just leave it on a notepad somewhere, because it's all about knowing people, man. Like, it's so hard to just research stuff and then get like a concrete answer and then go from there. Sometimes I wish I had a team, and we both are in this situation. It's like me,
like outsourcing work for sure.
Outsourcing work, and also just having like a right hand person, like a person. They're like, hey, I need to do these 3 things. I need like to research these 3 things. It's gonna take me way too much time. Can you do it or find someone who can? So like now that I've started working more closely with like an attorney, certain legal things I kind of feel like that. I'm like, hey, I don't know anything about this. Please, you do it. I'll pay you. I pay you by the hour. Boom.
Yeah, it seems like you're, I mean, at least you're outsourcing like thumbnails and
That's it.
is that it? Really?
Yeah, well, I just took your advice. I got Daily Dose of Chess to manage my clips channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and I did the same thing that we discussed in terms of like revenue.
Oh, this is like super recent because you
Yeah,
I know you messaged me. You were doing it for some time, like got burnt out, and yeah.
Yep. I didn't make a video for a week on that channel, and now I'm destroyed in the algorithm, dude. It's so bad. It's
Again, this is short term though. Like if you start being more consistent, like you'll pick up the growth.
I'm hoping. Also, shorts.
Too bad.
Shorts have a lot of residual effect on the views. They don't do well at first, and then they kind of there's a push, like a push afterward.
Yeah, it can be hit or miss.
I had some I dropped the bottle cap. I had I don't know, like career goals, but I had like financial goals, and then I have travel goals in the future, and I don't know. But unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that is kind of up in the air. Like I don't know where I want to settle down. I don't want to live in an apartment in New York City my whole life. I would like Lucy and I to move somewhere, but I don't know, man. You know what sounds nice? Living in Europe. Living in Europe sounds nice. You ever thought about that? It's so nice there. I spent
a decent amount of time in Europe.
Isn't Europe great?
It is, yeah. I mean, I just traveled through like a bunch of countries and didn't stay for too long, but it could very well be a nice, like certain cities that can be very nice to live. One of the last European cities I went to was Lisbon, Portugal.
My grandparents love Portugal.
And it was just so nice. Like streets are clean, it's safe.
People are nice.
Weather is good. People are nice. It's relatively cheap. So like for me, I think I want to have St. Louis as a home base for a long time, just with like all the chess stuff happening here. St. Louis Chess Club expanding, basically tripling in size. Their expansion will open sometime next year. And then I want to be flexible in terms of being able to just travel when I want to and either go for like chess events or vacation. And yeah, it's a kind of a weird spot where we have the power to fully design our lifestyle and kind of choose where we want to live. And as long as you have a good internet connection, you can still get work done and live from wherever.
Yeah, the time zone doesn't even matter like a whole lot at the end of the day. It gets to the point where you put out a video at any hour, and in the long run, people will still watch it. And yeah, I don't know. I keep looking at Europe. Just maybe it's because I haven't had a chance to travel through it as much. But
I wanted to ask, like, how much travel have you done? Because I can't recall you like playing too many international events.
No, I haven't. My grandparents took me traveling a lot when I was younger. As an adult, really not a lot at all. Yeah, I definitely want to go traveling. Go with Lucy, take on the world. I wanted to go to Dubai for the World Championship, but
me too.
I'm very lukewarm on it.
Yeah,
right?
it's
crazy...
something not to plan. Like you might have to decide like beforehand, depending on like travel restrictions and details and everything. It's not clear if they're allowing even spectators for the event.
Yeah, if they're not gonna let spectators, what the hell am I doing in Dubai? I'm gonna fly like 16 hours to not even get let into the venue. Yeah, I don't know. And this stuff is so hard to map out also, because we're in a household, like Lucy's diligently working a data career, and I could get up and be like, all right, I want to go somewhere. You know, like I want to go over there and take some time off. And we have to figure out something that makes sense. I can't just be like, honey, just tell the company you'll be back in like 4 days. It's fine. So that's one thing we'll have to do together. But to be honest, home is great. Just laying on your couch. It's also pretty nice. You have to appreciate the calm moments in life.
And it's nice, like having your own comfort zone.
Yeah.
I did see your recent tweet though about kind of getting outside your comfort zone.
Correct.
Grow
correct.
as an individual.
Well, the gym has become my, like I said, it's made me feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of times I flex in the mirror on a day-to-day basis is probably close to 10. So
Wow.
I don't know, it like makes you want to, that period of the day I feel great. Like I'm at the gym, I'm listening to music. Today a guy like tapped me on the arm and was like, "Are you Levy?"
Ooh.
At the gym. It's happened a few times at the gym. You get recognized on the street in St. Louis?
It's been more and more, like especially the last, obviously with traveling, like the last, like I guess 3 to 6 months. I mean, in St. Louis, definitely. Like if I'm in the area of the chess club, if I walk by the chess club, like usually people will pull me aside and want to play a game. Like last night, I was walking by the club and someone just wanted to play a game with me, and that was crazy because we were playing a game and Fabiano, MVL, and Maurice just walked by, like stopped to watch for a little bit.
That's funny.
And actually, Kostya filmed the whole thing on my phone, so I want to post it to YouTube at some point.
Kostya?
Kavutsky?
He's in St. Louis?
He is, yeah. He's doing the Grand Chess Tour journalist job. So he's handling like the Grand Chess Tour Twitter account and doing the daily recaps for them.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yep.
geez. Wow. I went to St. Louis once and I dropped out of Spice Cup in round 4, and I never, I've never gone to the St. Louis Chess Club. That's maybe one thing I'd like to do.
If you want to come back, like any time you want to visit, Spice Cup
maybe.
is happening again, I believe, in October.
That is one of the tournaments I might go to.
Oh, cool.
I might go to Spice Cup. I know Alex wants to go to Spice Cup. That'll be the one tournament in October. Well, we'll see.
Okay.
You know, we'll see. If I get obliterated, then I don't know if I'll want to continue. But we'll see.
I mean, a lot of strong GMs play, and
Yep.
I mean, it's good experience. Even if you get obliterated, that
It's
can
good
be some of the
experience
best
because
learning
I'll see you.
experiences.
You'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be in town. Yeah, it's around U.S. Championship as well.
Are you gonna play?
I don't know.
Those recaps, man. I'm
don't
telling
know.
you. It's,
Yeah.
See the view count on those recaps, man.
Maybe I would. It just depends on dates, and like I might want to like just enjoy watching the U.S. Championship if it overlaps, but I'll see. It's on my radar. I have like a lot of tournaments on my radar between like the one in like Spice Cup. There's one in Vegas in December.
Mm-hmm.
There's
That's on the radar.
obviously like hopefully stuff that will happen in 2022, like Reykjavik Open. I really want to play in.
Yes. Iceland is a nice place. Very nice place. Very expensive, but very nice place.
Mm-hmm.
Most grandmasters per capita in the world.
Yeah, and I have a lot of viewership from Iceland too. Like there's
Really?
there's a few loyal viewers, Tagi included.
Tagi,
actually.
yeah, Tagi. I forgot. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
I have another viewer that like he mentioned he runs like a paragliding company and would offer like me to paraglide in Iceland, which
That's dope.
be super cool. So
That's a place I would travel to multiple times.
yeah, I only visited, it was the first European country I visited back in 2016. Spent 2 days there, rented a car, drove like the Golden Circle, and just wish I could have stayed longer. It was just, weather was nice, days were long, super photogenic.
I almost died in
So-
Iceland.
I remember you telling me like you almost fell into a waterfall.
No,
no?
I did fall into a waterfall.
Yeah,
I almost died. It was crazy. We were
that's terrifying.
hiking up a side of a mountain, and we had to cross over like a rock path on a water to get to the other side, and I didn't want to do it, and I was sort of pressured into doing it, and I decided I would kind of leap onto the first rock and propel myself in a gap between the two rocks, and I got in the first rock and I slipped and I fell into ice cold waterfall water.
Yeah, the water in Iceland can be very unforgiving.
And that was, it was completely insane, man.
What year was this?
2017, 16, past life. And I flailed around like 15 seconds. I would have fallen off a waterfall and fell on rocks. And I grabbed something at the bottom with like 3 fingers. And I swallowed water, like, because I was, so I swallowed water trying to come up. And finally I grabbed, and I managed to pull myself up, crawl on a rock. Everything was soaked. Lost my phone, car keys. Like, oh my God, it was awful.
You gotta be careful. Like these.
Well, I'm here. So, unfortunately for some, and hopefully fortunately for most. So, but I would go back.
That reminds me. Do you know this channel? It's called, I think, GeoWizard.
No.
He's like the GeoGuessr player.
Okay.
Last name Davies. But he became known for like being really good at GeoGuessr. But then he did like these real life excursions, and some of his like most viral videos have been walking across countries in exactly a straight line. And it's like really interesting content. He just straps a GoPro to his head and just like walks in a straight line, like cuts across property and like different landscapes. So he walked across Wales. Was it Wales? I think it was Wales.
Wow.
Where like he had to walk across a swamp thing. And at some point he just got stuck, and like it almost like just swallowed him. But eventually like he got out, and he did it like alone. And yeah, you gotta be careful.
That's how you die, man. That's how these people end up falling off of sides of buildings because they're taking extreme photos or something. But yeah, to each their own. I don't know. That stuff absolutely terrifies me. I'm like, as I'm aging, I'm only 25, but I feel 50. There's random stuff that just freaks me out. I can't do it. Like heights. It's getting worse too. Like soon I'll probably not be able to like look out my own window.
Are you afraid of flying or?
No. So flying, I'm okay. But I've gotten pretty jumpy with turbulence. But I was never afraid of heights. And then one day it happened. And if that happens with flying, that'll suck. But basically my logic with flying is if I die, I'm taking all of you with me. That's basically the way it's my approach. That's the way I get over my fear of flying. If this plane crashes right now, all of you are dead, and so am I. Okay, so that's the way. What am I gonna do? Like, I don't know how to fly a plane. So
yeah, I mean, flying I think is the safest method of transportation.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, driving is crazy. I used to, when I started driving a lot, I was like, man, I really like driving. I had a couple of bad drives. Traffic, like aggressive drivers on the road. I'm like, damn, driving is a chore. So you start losing the allure of some of these things that you like.
I assume you don't have to drive too much being in the city.
No, but I can rent a car now with Zipcar, and I do like to drive, and I want to go places that are car accessible. But yeah, sure. Definitely, you don't need to drive here. I bike, I take electric scooters, and there's definitely a lot of ways to get around. Last thing I was gonna sign off on is like, what's next? What you working on?
Ooh, I mean, that's actually a good question because I just had like so much happen between like this past summer with Vegas and then Russia. And then this St. Louis Rap and Blitz in St. Louis. So like I've just like kind of got done with all of that. And the next few months it's kind of a clean slate. Like I want to focus more on just consistent YouTube content. I was going to tell you this not on the podcast, but I want to visit New York. You know, we're trying to make a date in August work, which kind of fell through, but
Yeah.
I was invited to a wedding where I like don't know the wedding party, but like the
Okay.
groom is a fan of my content.
Okay.
And it's like in the New York area. So there's a chance I might find myself in New York sometime next month.
Well, I was gonna offer the U.S. Open, so
US Open. Oh, tennis.
yeah, tennis.
Oh, are they allowing spectators?
Yeah. They
Oh
are.
wow. When is
Yeah,
that?
I think September. Like the fall,
Wow.
like toward the end, like
Okay.
early mid September. Whenever this comes out. Yeah, I wanted to. Might have like Kyron might come to town.
Cool.
Yeah, that's something I want to do, dude. Thank God New York City is doing this whole vaccine requirement thing. Like my gym, and not everybody listening is gonna agree, but I'm so happy. Like my gym sent out an anonymous survey and found that like 91%, like 92% of people in the gym were vaccinated.
Nice.
So they just said you have to upload proof starting in September, and like because of the whole New York City restrictions. I'm like, great. I can work out with no mask, and if I still get the breakthrough case, like we'll see. We'll beat it. We'll overcome it. But yeah, it's good. The anxiety is like a lot lower.
That's good.
Man,
Yeah, I'm definitely itching to like travel more and like,
yeah.
kind of, especially after almost a year and a half of being locked down, just kind of
Come to New York.
still returning to some normalcy. So
It's great here. You don't have a house. No one can rob it.
oh yeah, that's
It's good, right? No one's gonna rob your hotel room or if you stay on my couch. Man, I was really looking forward to hosting you at the old place, but sadly that place sucks and is a stain on my memory. So
I mean it's good. Like it seems like you've recovered as much as you could from a situation like that.
now I just use it for jokes. So
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you this. I don't think I've ever said this on stream, but when I first moved to St. Louis, this was back in April 2019, my car got stolen.
The whole car?
The whole car. It was
like hot wired and stolen?
So it was like a week after I moved in and there was free street parking. I was just parking like on like within a block of my apartment. And I parked it on a Friday. I don't need to drive much in this area. And then a few days later, it was just gone. And I thought I forgot where I parked it because sometimes I'm spacey, like I'll like go through the day-to-day motions. But I wanted to drive it on like a Monday. It just wasn't there.
What do you even do?
I didn't know. So I called the towing company.
Okay.
Because I don't know, maybe it got towed for some reason, but they didn't have it. And they told me to call 911. So it was my first time in my life calling 911. And they put me on hold for like 2 minutes. But then they took my information. No cop came. They said they would just like get back to me.
Did they get back to you?
They did. The next day, they found someone driving the car. Yeah.
Is there more?
Yeah. So sorry, like it's uncomfortable for me to talk about this because I haven't revealed this.
Actively think about what details you do and don't want to disclose.
Exactly.
I mean, so far you're doing pretty good. I don't know.
Thank you. So
don't say the color or the model or any of that stuff.
Or the VIN number or whatever.
Yeah.
But they found the car like a 20-minute drive away in like pretty bad neighborhood. And a friend drove me to pick up the car. Like it was pulled over. Whoever was driving it was questioned. And so first of all, the person driving it was not arrested because they said they bought the car from someone else. So apparently whoever stole the car had sold it to someone really quickly, or the person driving it was lying and they just actually stole it and just made up some excuse. So the cops let them go. And
when you were going to this place to get
yeah,
this car, like, did it ever cross your mind that someone who steals the car might be armed? Like,
well, the cop was just waiting for me there.
oh,
So
okay,
um,
I see.
I felt very okay. Like they
When
gave me
I
the address and
when I came home and discovered that my house had been broken into, I didn't move. Like, I didn't know if the person was in the house. So that was my first instinct. Like, I was like, oh my God, someone broke into
it's
my
like
house.
safety first, right?
Yeah, I just got out because I didn't know
Sure.
if they were hiding. You know, imagine they have a gun. Like, I don't know.
Of course.
So, yeah.
But like this story has kind of a wholesome ending, because when I got my car back, it was super thoroughly cleaned and it looked like kind of a brand new car, like finely detailed. The inside was like vacuumed. And I was fortunate because like a week before I had like all my stuff, because I was moving into this new apartment, but I just moved all my stuff out of the car. So it was pretty empty. And I basically got a free car cleaning.
Bro, someone stole your car, cleaned it, didn't damage it, and you got it back? Like, no problem?
Yep. All the paper, I had paperwork in the glove compartment, all of that was still there. So so actually the way they stole it, I think like there was a spare key in the like hidden in one of the compartments that they somehow got in and found. And
That is
and
crazy.
then yeah, I filed like this insurance claim, which was kind of a headache, but then thankfully I just canceled it. And now I have like protected garage parking.
Wow. In my life, cops have not done a thing. So, yeah, I mean, I guess a car is different. It's a
Yeah, I
car.
mean, like they didn't really do a follow-up investigation, like had a good ending, and I was a bit shaken for many days afterwards. But
Yeah, I couldn't sleep because
yeah,
just the thought of like knowing that someone knows where everything is, has been in your house. I was like, we're getting out of here. Like, if
yeah.
it's the last thing I do, I'm
I
gonna
didn't want to
find.
say anything on stream because, like, okay, there are like some identifying information. I don't know if I was targeted because I had just moved, but it seemed like kind of a random case. And yeah, the first time actually telling this, I guess, publicly.
That's good.
So
That's we started the podcast with a bang. We'll end it with a bang. Yeah, I've had stuff stolen. That's it, really. I've never been assaulted or anything like that. Knock on wood.
yeah.
But
Oh, I have another story too. Really quick story.
Okay.
It was from earlier this morning. It ends with me climbing out of my window.
Good.
Just like super random, but that's like I wanted to go for breakfast this morning, like outside in the world, and my like I tried opening my front door and it just the lock broke and I was trapped inside my apartment.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah.
You
So,
live in a floor that you can climb out of.
so I didn't have to jump from like a 3-story. It's thankfully first floor. And
I had
yeah.
the reverse when I was moving out of my apartment, not the one that got broken into, but the one right before that. My landlords were an elderly Greek couple.
Ooh.
And while we're moving stuff, all of a sudden they're like fussing and arguing with each other, like really loudly, and also outside, not in their own apartment. I'm like, what are they doing? So finally, the guy kind of tells me, he's like, hey, and kind of points to his window. And I was like, did they lock themselves out of their apartment? And they did. And so what I had to do was scale the side of our building, open their window from the outside, climb in and make sure not to like break anything, and then go through their apartment and open the front door for them. And that was the
That's kind of you.
the parting gift, yeah, as we were moving stuff. So
Yeah, I was thankful this morning, like maintenance came straight away to like replace the lock, and I just haven't had to like climb through a window before, so it's a bit strange.
yeah, maintenance is good. It's good to have people like who can easily fix stuff. And wow, I did not expect to hear either of those stories to end the show, but honestly, I could probably go for a third hour, but it's late. That's the problem.
I know I've recently realized you're an hour later, so
yeah, I'm
always
I'm tired. I I worked out my legs today, and I can already feel them melting, and it's gonna be.
That's a good type of pain. Like it will make you stronger.
Yes, just like losing in chess.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Eric, it was a pleasure, and I would very much enjoy you visiting and also having you as a guest for like a second and third episode. So, and fourth.
Yeah, I'm always down. We should do one of those things that Cutie did at the end of her interview, where like if you've made it this far, you have to comment something like completely random. I'm trying to think of like a random thing.
Okay.
Just comment like, "Oh no, my queen." Yeah.
There you go.
Is that okay?
That's a beautiful sign off. Yeah. And for people on any other podcast platform, you got to watch on YouTube to get in the comment section. But if not, then.
Also, like, I know like there were a lot of, we tangented a lot of times. So if people have follow-up questions in the YouTube comments that you want to ask based on whatever we talked about or just random stuff, leave them below. I'll like us sometimes go through them and try and answer them.
I like YouTube comments. Let me read my favorite one to you.
Oh, okay.
We can sign off on this. Ladies, that was whoever is listening just heard like 2 seconds of me pulling up my YouTube video. Okay. So here's the comment. It's on my most recent Grandmaster training video. The comment reads, "Clickbait. You're playing the same anonymous player time and time again. It's not training to become a Grandmaster. Playing recognized players for rating points counts. This is just jerking off your fans to increase your revenue stream." Any thoughts, Eric?
Did you pin it?
Of course.
Of course, yeah.
Of course I pinned it. It's been really difficult identifying actually angry commenters and not just kids who have watched for a long time and actually really like the channel but are writing hate. But that guy,
yeah, I think you've also conditioned people to
yes.
like try and be pinned, and
yes, very much,
it causes people to put words together in an interesting way.
In my defense, that individual had 5 comments on 5 videos, all hateful.
Oh,
pretty consistent track record. So that is my favorite comment. I will share it. But yes, you watched that far, right? Oh no, my queen. I am going to go read my book and go to sleep. That's my plan. Nice. Sounds like a plan. Let's be in touch. Yeah. Folks, if you made it this far in the show, as always, I want to thank you for your continued support. Please do subscribe to the podcast anywhere you catch it, either the Gotham City YouTube channel or any of the major platforms on which podcasts are posted. And if you'd like to support me in any way, the best way to do that is to find a donation link somewhere or check out some of my chess courses at gotham-chess.com. I'll see you here back in Gotham City with our next guest in our next episode.